You have to embrace getting older. Life is precious, and when you've lost a lot of people, you realize each day is a gift. Meryl Streep. Life is precious and time is a key element. Let's make every moment count and help those who have a greater need than our own. Harmon Killebrew. I think I'm very conscientious of how precious life is and how quickly life can be taken away from you, especially at times when it can be least expected. Jeff Garcia. Life is too precious to waste it with the wrong person. You're better off alone until the right one comes along. Tony Gaskins. Every life is precious to God. God created every one of us. He gave us a soul, and that soul will live as long as God lives. Franklin Graham. Be yourself. Life is precious as it is. All the elements for your happiness are already here. There is no need to run, strive, search, or struggle. Just be. Nyet Han. Mistakes are a part of being human. Appreciate your mistakes for what they are, precious life lessons that can only be learned the hard way. Unless it's a fatal mistake, which, at least, others can learn from. Al Franken. There is no greater evil than killing. I don't care whether they call it war or justice. Life is precious. Brian Jacques. We need to appreciate how precious life is. Shelley Fabre. Life isn't long enough to do all you could accomplish. And what a privilege even to be alive. In spite of all the pollutions and horrors, how beautiful this world is. Supposing you only saw the stars once every year. Think what you would think. The wonder of it. Tasha Tudor. The born-again Christian sees life not as a blurred, confused, meaningless mass, but as something planned and purposeful. Billy Graham. Lost time is never found again. Benjamin Franklin. Life is precious. Not because it is unchangeable, like a diamond, but because it is vulnerable, like a little bird. To love life means to love its vulnerability, asking for care, attention, guidance, and support. Life and death are connected by vulnerability. The newborn child and the dying elder both remind us of the preciousness of our lives. Let's not forget the preciousness and vulnerability of life during the times we are powerful, successful, and popular. Henri Nouwen. My life is Avatar, your life is precious. Rez Cass. Life is precious, fragile, fleeting, and Murphy's life was one of my favorites. Jim Butcher. As I've said before, time is short, and life is precious. Nancy Reagan. Life is a series of delicious moments. Esther Hicks. Every human life is precious in God's sight, and no effort should be spared in the attempt to promote throughout the world a genuine respect for the inalienable rights and dignity of individuals and peoples everywhere. Pope Benedict. Every human life is precious in God's sight, and no effort should be spared in the attempt to promote throughout the world a genuine respect for the inalienable rights and dignity of individuals and peoples everywhere. Pope Benedict. Life is precious and there's not a lot of room for anger. Fran Drescher. One of the goals of education should be to teach that life is precious. Abraham Maslow. To my young friends out there, life can be great, but not when you can't see it. So, open your eyes to life, to see it in the vivid colors that God gave us as a precious gift to His children, to enjoy life to the fullest, and to make it count. Say yes to your life. Nancy Reagan. I don't think all life is precious. I know people say that all the time, life is precious. I think some life is precious, and some life is just a waste of protoplasm. Start over. Vilmar. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Mary Oliver. I have found it very important in my own life to try to let go of my wishes and instead to live in hope. I am finding that when I choose to let go of my sometimes petty and superficial wishes and trust that my life is precious and meaningful in the eyes of God, something really new, something beyond my own expectations begins to happen for me. Finding my way home, Henri Nouwen. Do not ask your children to strive for extraordinary lives. Such striving may seem admirable, but it is the way of foolishness. Help them instead to find the wonder and the marvel of an ordinary life. Show them the joy of tasting tomatoes, apples and pears. Show them how to cry when pets and people die. Show them the infinite pleasure in the touch of a hand. And make the ordinary come alive for them. The extraordinary will take care of itself. William Martin. Try to accomplish things you have always dreamt of while you can. I know it sounds cliche, but the biggest lesson I have learned is that life is precious. Enjoy it while it lasts. Lisa Lane. Human life is precious, sublime and meaningful. But by involvement in purely worldly pursuits, the greatness of human birth is forgotten. Without human values, life is meaningless. When there is purity in thought, word and deed, human values are practiced. The unity of the three H's is essential. Heart, head, and hand. But today this unity is absent among people, with the result that men are becoming inhuman. Satya Sai Baba. I don't like people who have never fallen or stumbled. Their virtue is lifeless and it isn't of much value. Life hasn't revealed its beauty to them. Boris Pasternak. Life is precious and it's what you do with it that keeps you alive on the inside. It's not enough just to live and take that gift for granted. Each one of us has fears, but the more we work to overcome them, the more we are able to enjoy our lives. Demi Lovato. Life is a game, play it. Life is too precious, do not destroy it. Mother Teresa. Realizing that life is precious, the natural tendency is to trample on it, like laughing at a funeral. Lester Banks. Life is precious, and when someone dies it's an opportunity to realize how precious it is. My brother drowned when I was 17. He was 15. I think I grew from that. My father didn't. It really crushed him. Val Kilmer. Life is precious. Life is sacred. And it ought so to be observed. Gordon B. Hinckley. All human life is precious. George W. Bush. Life is a spell so exquisite that everything conspires to break it. Emily Dickinson. People who say life is precious don't spend much time online at the airport. Dov Davidoff. Life moves on, whether we act as cowards or heroes. Life has no other discipline to impose, if we would but realize it, than to accept life unquestioningly. Everything we shut our eyes to, everything we run away from, everything we deny, denigrate or despise, serves to defeat us in the end. What seems nasty, painful, evil, can become a source of beauty, joy, and strength, if faced with an open mind. Every moment it is a golden one for him who has the vision to recognize it as such. Henry Miller. Be glad of life because it gives you the chance to love, to work, to play, and to look up at the stars. Henry Van Dyke. Life is precarious, and life is precious. Don't presume you will have it tomorrow, and don't waste it today. John Piper. Life is pure adventure, and the sooner we realize that, the quicker we will be able to treat life as art. Maya Angelou. Bad things do happen, how I respond to them defines my character and the quality of my life. I can choose to sit in perpetual sadness, immobilized by the gravity of my loss, or I can choose to rise from the pain and treasure the most precious gift I have, life itself. Walter Anderson. Every moment of life is precious and can never happen again, and therefore is a reason to appreciate, be grateful for, and celebrate the fact that you are alive. Zelig Pliskin. Life is too short to wake up with regrets. So love the people who treat you right. Forget about those who don't. Believe everything happens for a reason. If you get a chance, take it. If it changes your life, let it. Nobody said life would be easy, they just promised it would most likely be worth it. Harvey Mackay. Marcus Aurelius quote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it." When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Marcus Aurelius. Life is precious. We should not take anything for granted. Living every moment as if it was our first and last is a genuine life of gratitude, acceptance and wisdom. Akiane Kramaric. Life is an opportunity, benefit from it. Life is beauty, admire it. Life is a dream, realize it. Life is a challenge, meet it. Life is a duty, complete it. Life is a game, play it. Life is a promise, fulfill it. Life is sorrow, overcome it. Life is precious, do not waste it doing anything that your heart does not respect or agree with.